Every spiritual tradition has a gatekeeper controlling access to the divine realm. In Voodoo, they call him Papa Legba. Catholics pray to Saint Peter. Could these be different names for the same cosmic guardian? What if religions worldwide have been worshipping the same entity all along? What if Papa Legba holds the keys to every spiritual gateway across all religions? Here's something that'll shake your understanding of spirituality. There's a guardian standing between you and every prayer you've ever made. In Voodoo and African-rooted traditions, this gatekeeper is Papa Legba. And here's what most people miss: he's not just another spirit floating around. He's the authority deciding whether your spiritual communications get through or get blocked. Without his permission, your prayers hit a wall. Let that sink in for a moment. Picture this: an elderly man leaning on a walking stick, wearing a wide-brimmed straw hat, smoking a pipe. That's how Papa Legba appears. But don't let the humble appearance fool you. Every detail carries ancient power. That walking stick, it's a staff of authority passed down through eternities. The straw hat, it symbolizes connection to earth and humility before greater forces. And that pipe constantly releasing smoke, that's the communication channel between dimensions, carrying messages upward and bringing answers down. Papa Legba stands at crossroads because crossroads are power points. Places where paths intersect, where decisions reshape destinies, where worlds touch each other. He doesn't just guard these intersections, he is the intersection, the meeting point of physical and spiritual, human and divine, question and answer. Think about the crossroads in your own life, those moments when everything hung in the balance. Was he there? Here's what makes him absolutely unique. Papa Legba speaks every human language. Every single one. He understands your words before you speak them, your intentions before you form them, your needs before you recognize them. This isn't about translation, it's about universal comprehension at soul level. He reads the language of your spirit. In voodoo ceremonies, he's always invoked first. Always, no exceptions. Before calling any other loa or spirit, practitioners greet Papa Legba. Why? Because attempting spiritual contact without opening the gates first is like trying to make a phone call without signal. Pointless. He controls the connection. He determines access. Now close your eyes for 3 seconds. Think about a major crossroads decision you faced. Feel how that moment changed everything. Papa Legba was watching. How did Catholic saints become masks for ancient African spiritual guardians? This is where it gets mind-blowing. When enslaved Africans were brutally forced to abandon their religions, they did something genius instead. They didn't abandon, they adapted. They found Catholic saints who matched their lois so perfectly that the church never caught on. Papa Legba transformed into Saint Peter, Saint Anthony, and Saint Lazarus. But why these specific saints? The answer reveals universal spiritual patterns. Saint Peter holds the keys to heaven's gates in Christianity. Sound familiar? He decides who enters paradise, who gets access to divine presence. Exactly what Papa Legba does. Both control gateways. Both determine passage. Both possess supreme authority over spiritual entrances. Look at Saint Peter's imagery, those golden keys he carries. Now picture Papa Legba at the crossroads with his staff. Different symbols, identical function. Different cultures, same archetype. Saint Anthony enters the picture because he helps people find what's lost. He opens paths, removes obstacles, connects people with what they seek. That's Papa Legba's specialty, opening roads in life, clearing spiritual blockages, guiding seekers to answers. And Saint Lazarus? He represents crossing between death and life, ultimate transformation, passage through the impossible. Once again, pure Papa Legba territory. Think about this carefully. How many times have you prayed to Saint Anthony to find something? How often have you asked Saint Peter for help? Without realizing it, you might have been invoking Papa Legba's ancient energy. Religious boundaries blur more than we admit. Names change across cultures, but the power behind them remains constant. Haitian voodoo practitioners pulled off spiritual survival brilliance. During colonization, when worshipping their lois meant death, they placed Catholic saint statues on altars. Authorities saw compliance. But practitioners knew exactly who they were really honoring. Saint Peter visible to oppressors, Papa Legba present for believers. This wasn't betrayal of roots, it was sacred resistance. The fusion worked because the archetypes matched too perfectly to be coincidence. Every culture recognizes the gatekeeper. Every tradition needs a mediator between human and divine. Papa Legba simply wore whatever mask allowed him to survive and serve. Stop for 5 seconds. Right now, think about the masks you wear in different situations. Just like Papa Legba adapted to survive persecution, how many versions of yourself exist? Why Papa Legba's sacred symbols appear in spiritual traditions worldwide. Let's decode the symbols because that's where hidden knowledge lives. Papa Legba carries keys, walks with a staff, smokes a pipe, wears black and red, and keeps dogs as sacred animals. Every element appears across global spiritual traditions in some form. Those keys, they're not just metal objects, they represent access to hidden knowledge, power to unlock mysteries, authority over what remains closed to others. Keys show up everywhere in mystical symbolism. Ancient Egyptian priests carried key-shaped ankhs. Norse mythology speaks of keys to different realms. Tarot features the Hierophant with keys to spiritual wisdom. Papa Legba possesses all keys because he controls all gateways. When you hold a key in your hand, you're holding concentrated power to enter, power to protect, power to grant or deny access. That walking stick carries serious authority. It's not a cane for a weak old man. It's a staff of cosmic power. Moses parted seas with his staff. Gandalf wielded a staff channeling ancient magic. Hermes carried the caduceus staff with serpents. Throughout history, spiritual leaders carry staffs as symbols of dominion over forces beyond physical reality. Papa Legba's staff lets him walk between worlds with absolute authority. The pipe and its rising smoke? That's ancient communication technology. Smoke has always carried prayers upward. Catholic churches burn incense during Mass. Native American ceremonies use sage smoke. Pagan rituals light sacred fires. Smoke rises from physical to spiritual realms, carrying intentions, bringing blessings back down. Papa Legba constantly smokes, maintaining open communication channels between dimensions. Black and red colors hold tremendous symbolic weight. Black represents the unknown, shadow work, deep unconscious, hidden wisdom. Red symbolizes life force, passion, blood that courses through all living beings, raw power. Combined, these colors balance light and shadow, life and death, visible and invisible. Papa Legba wears them because he exists in that liminal space between opposites. Dogs as sacred guardians? Ancient Egypt had Anubis with his jackal head guarding the afterlife. Greek mythology featured Cerberus protecting the underworld. Dogs sense what humans cannot see. They guard thresholds. They recognize who belongs and who doesn't. Perfect companions for the ultimate gatekeeper. Look around your life right now. What symbols do you carry? That pendant, that ring, that tattoo? They're all keys and staffs in their own way, connecting you to something greater. If this resonates deep within you, hit that like button now. Drop Crossroads in the comments if you're starting to see these patterns everywhere, and subscribe because we're about to explore more gatekeepers hidden across world religions. How recognizing the gatekeeper can transform your spiritual journey forever. Here's the truth that changes everything. Understanding Papa Legba isn't about studying folklore or comparing religions. It's about recognizing how spiritual access actually works in your life. Because if there's a guardian controlling entry to the divine, you need to know how to approach him respectfully. And here's what most people completely miss: Papa Legba isn't some distant mythological figure. He's present at every crossroads you face, every major life decision you make. He's there observing. Every time you seek guidance from higher powers, he watches your approach. Every mysteriously opening door in your life, every suddenly cleared obstacle, every perfectly timed opportunity, Papa Legba might have turned that key for you. Your religion doesn't matter. Your specific beliefs don't matter. Universal archetypes transcend labels and boundaries. The gatekeeper exists across all traditions because the need for mediation between worlds is fundamentally human. Voodoo practitioners have understood this for centuries. They never begin any ritual without greeting Papa Legba first. They offer simple things: water, coffee, sweets, rum, tobacco. Why these offerings? Because they demonstrate respect. They acknowledge that without his blessing, spiritual doors remain locked. It's like knocking before entering someone's home. It's basic spiritual courtesy, and it works not through superstition, but through energetic alignment. You don't need to practice voodoo to apply this wisdom. Before any spiritual seeking, acknowledge the gatekeeper. Call him Papa Legba, Saint Peter, or simply ask the universe for permission to enter sacred space. The specific name matters far less than your intention and respect. Just recognizing that something guards spiritual access shifts your energy. It demonstrates the humility required for genuine connection. It aligns you with forces greater than ego. Think about crossroads coming in your future. They always come. Moments requiring you to choose between paths when neither choice feels clear. Papa Legba will be there, invisible but present, watching how you approach the decision. If you recognize him, if you ask for guidance with pure intention and respect, the right doors will open. The correct paths will illuminate themselves. Because the gatekeeper doesn't block those who arrive with sincere hearts. Close your eyes for 3 seconds. Right now, visualize yourself standing at a crossroads. See the old, wise figure with the staff waiting there. Feel his presence. You just made contact. If this opens spiritual doors for you, smash that like button right now. Write gatekeeper in the comments if you recognize these signs appearing in your journey. Subscribe to this channel because we're diving deeper into spiritual guardians and sacred portals that every religion knows, but few truly understand. Share this with someone standing at their own crossroads, needing guidance.